I blame my husband. I will start out by saying this. Who's here, by the way? He had the nerve to graduate before me. So what does this do? Like, this leaves a very hyperactive person that's, again, a fish out of water, nothing but time on her hands. And this is just not a good strategy for anyone. So I'm like, I should get involved in something to stay out of trouble. So I start flipping through the school newspaper, and they're like, student elections, sign up now. I'm like, oh, all right, fine. And I'm like, let's see, I only have one semester. Sure, I'll run for president. I don't got a lot of time, and I can't work my way up. So it's like, I'd like to run for president. They're like, what? What party are you with? There's parties on a college campus? For goodness sake. I really just want to do this for something to do. All right, it's $50. Fine, here you go. So I did, and inadvertently awoke this sleeping giant, because here's what I didn't realize. The student body president, and this is true of UF, I don't know so much Miami because it's a private school, but definitely other schools that are big. And they manage a $32 million budget. They have a seat on the Board of Regents in Tallahassee. Like, people go to politics camp when they're like 8 years old to get ready to run for this. This is like a big deal, apparently. And people are like handing me money and like, here's $500 to run your campaign. I'm like, dude, my campaign is sidewalk chalk. Like, I don't really need $500. So we had
before that, you had no experience.
Oh, none, no.
You were just doing it for fun.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
An activity for you.
And so we became the Rebel Party. My campaign vice president, Scott Walker, actually now works for Amnesty International. My campaign manager is the daughter of a Miami judge. So they turned out to be very legitimate citizens. And we had no money. So since we were the Rebel Party and Star Wars was coming out, the newer one, not the older one.
So you guys were like a third party you created?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were the third party. We had no connections to speak of. So we were like, oh, we're going to rent Princess Leia and Luke costumes. This is perfect because we're the rebels and what have you, and we'll make a whole thing of it, and it'll be Shawna and Scott and whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, we don't have any more Star Wars stuff. The movie's coming out. But here's what we do have. And he pulls out this like 6 foot tall pink bunny costume. Very, very well worn. And there was only one guy on our campaign, I love him, Justin, who could wear it because you had to be so tall. It's like being goofy, you know. We didn't cast this part lightly. And so he's like a chain smoker, I believe still to this day. And he's like, yeah, vote for Shawna and Scott. Just like, you know. And, everybody else is giving away like campaign placards and custom made bumper stickers. One of the girls that ran against us, her dad rented a plane and there was skywriting over the stadium. We're like, what's free that we can give away? We're like, oh, we'll go to the clinic and give away condoms. Like, this is awesome. So, needless to say, people that didn't normally vote awoke themselves from maybe, shall we say, a hash-filled haze and stumbled to the polls. So we actually managed to get the most votes in student history in that election.
So you won the election.
Technically, yes.
What happened next?
They did not take kindly to this, they being the people in charge, because you can't have us representing your school on camera and what have you. And so initially we fought it. We actually won the Student Supreme Court ruling and all of that. And then I receive a late night phone call that says, you have a choice. You can either graduate or you can take this. Those are your options. So I said, okay, sir, I will pick A and will graduate, because that was 4 years of investment, not 4 months of fun. But I didn't forget that, and that kind of ended up coming back around later on.
What did that experience teach you?
Well, a couple of things. I know when I'm outgunned now, because as you can tell, I am not what you would call a wallflower. But at the same time, there's a time and a place for those battles, and people say, pick your battles, and that's not what I say. I say pick the time for your battles.